With me in the studio this morning from Shefa Gems, I'm joined by James Campbell. James, good morning.
Good morning, Andrew. Lovely to be with you here this morning.
And lovely to see you. Look, we haven't spoken since the recent passing of Avi Taub. So how's the team and how's the search for a new chief executive?
Andrew, I think I'd first like to publicly acknowledge the tremendous amount of work that Avi Taub did. He was the founder of Shefa Gems. He worked tirelessly for almost 20 years to create the company we have, to create the vision of an Israeli exploration, mining, marketing company, a fully integrated company. So I would like to acknowledge him and that his tremendous work, and he's left us with a wonderful legacy and a wonderful foundation to actually build on at the moment. Last week we met in Israel as a board to actually assess the situation going forward. Between myself, the chairman, Michael Rosenberg, the chief operating officer, Veri Toledo, the company is still being very well managed and very well run. And very importantly, what we have now started is we've started the search for a new chief executive officer. We have agreed a profile for that person, and we've already started advertising and looking for someone who wants to take this wonderful idea, which is now an inferred resource, all the way through to mining next year, and then a fully integrated mine to market or mine to finger company with those unique gems from the Holy Land of Israel.
Well, indeed, and tell me a bit more about the maiden resource.
Yes, we were listed about 2 years ago on the London Stock Exchange, and since that time we have done a tremendous amount of bulk sampling on the Kishon Midreach Zone 1 and Zone 2. We've recovered just over 16,000 carats from 10,000 tonnes of gravel, and with that we have been able to declare a maiden inferred resource. And that maiden inferred resource is 2 million tonnes of gravel running at 162 carats per 100 tonnes at a bottom cutoff of +1 millimetre.
And this covers zones 1 and 2?
This covers zones 1 and 2, and
Right.
It covers the entire Gembox suite of minerals, which is sapphire, ruby, Carmel sapphire, moissanite, hibonite, garnet, spinel, and ilmenite. So it covers that whole unique suite of gems.
And this box suite has an approximate contained revenue of what, $41 a tonne?
Andrew, that's absolutely correct. That's an in situ revenue
Right.
of $41 per tonne. And as we all know in the jewellery industry, there are multiples of that value as you progress down the value chain. And typically those multiples could be anything from 5 to 10 times the value when the end consumer eventually buys the product. And we in Shefa Gems are very keen to capture that downstream value too, and a very recent example of that was our venture with Yossi Harari.
That's right.
The world famous American jeweler who produced those fantastic gems. And we believe there would be a very strong market for this unique gem suite of minerals amongst the Jewish, the evangelical, and other populations that sit outside of Israel itself.
So with this maiden resource now in hand, what are the next steps here for you?
The next steps, we have applied for something called a discovery certificate. It's something that's very unique to the Israeli legislation, but what that does, it actually allows us to open the door for approval of a mining license. So following the approval of the discovery certificate, then we will, within hopefully a fairly short order, have the mining license and then go to the next step of trial mining. And what that means to us is that we don't have to, like many mines, go and raise a vast amount of capital to develop the mine. We've already got much of the processing and mining infrastructure already, so it's a relatively small amount of money required. And I think we've already announced in the publication of our technical economic evaluation that our target mining costs were 26, but we believe we can get them down to between $10 and $15 per tonne, and that must be seen against a revenue of $41 per tonne.
And how much would you be looking to produce initially as part of this trial mining process?
We haven't actually published yet the mine plan as such,
Okay.
but once we have the discovery certificate and once we've actually applied for the trial mining license, of course we'll tell our stakeholders what the anticipated throughput in terms of tonnes and carats from each of the different minerals itself.
So an exciting year ahead for you next year, getting cracking and starting mining.
Absolutely, it's always a pivotal point in a junior exploration company, that the announcement of a maiden resource, and in particular here that we're fast tracking that maiden resource into trial mining, and then very importantly from that as well, a multi-channel marketing scheme, so we can target the high-end consumers for the larger gemstones, because we also produce some very large sapphires. And I think I've mentioned it before as well, we'll be the only naturally producing moissanite mine in the world. And in today's world, where there's a lot of synthetic or lab-grown jewels, we believe, and research has actually certainly shown that the average consumer wants something natural, wants something that was actually developed in the bowels of the earth and not in some kind of commercial furnace. And so it won't just be the high-end market, but there will also be the middle end and the bottom end too as well. And working very hard at the moment to develop that multi-channel marketing strategy.
And with the trial mining, while that's all taking place, there's further exploration work to be done next year as well?
Absolutely, Andrew. There are kind of two components to that. We're going to be having a look at the Kishon Midreach Zone 3, but it's not a high priority for us, because Zones 1 and 2 will form the kernel of our trial mining. But what we would like to do as well is we actually would like to look for the primary source of these high pressure, high temperature minerals in Mount Carmel itself. If I use the analogy from diamonds, which is my other area of interest, is that there is a lot of interest in alluvial diamonds, but there's a lot more interest in finding that primary source, because it can be constrained that much easier, and typically it's of a higher grade and of a higher value. So yes, we would like to also have a look for the primary source, which will sit somewhere on Mount Carmel.
So I think back to what you were saying at the start, has it been 2 years since you listed in London?
It has been, Andrew, yes. It's been a very quick 2 years.
Well, what's your view on the progress and where the company's at now?
I think for any junior company to have established an inferred resource and a plan for trial mining within a period of 2 years, I think is a major thing. Many junior explorers or developers, call it what you will, don't even get to the resource stage. But with us in Shefa Gems, we've got the resource stage, we've got a plan for trial mining, we've already developed some marketing channels, particularly through Yossi Harari. There's still a huge amount to be done. But what we've been able to achieve in the 2 years we've had, with the money that we've had available to us, I think has been great. So we've created that firm foundation, which was Avi Taub's dream, to create that vertically integrated precious stone mine-to-finger company.
James, nice to see you this morning. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much indeed for having me, Andrew.